This episode of the Radial Podcast is brought to you by Eyes Up Auto Art. Be sure to check out all of Zach's work and get more information about having your own piece commissioned at Eyes Up Auto Art on Facebook. Kurt Busch. Hi, welcome back to the Radial Podcast. I'm Austin, joined by Jeff.
My name's Jeff.
And very special guest, Lil Dicky.
This plays great. He's upset.
I even gave you a warning that I was going to do it.
Yeah, I didn't think you were actually going to.
I don't remember this at all.
Because, like, the resemblance isn't there.
It is there.
Not, like, unless I let my hair go for, like, a month and a half.
In all seriousness, though, it's Devin.
It's me.
Devin.
My name's Devin. Also, I've got no beef with Little Dicky. My beef is with Chris Brown.
Everyone's beef is with Chris Brown.
Yeah. Except for Little Dicky, apparently he has no beef with Chris Brown.
He just wants that
I
money.
think that he wants that money to make songs.
Never compromise,
He's a professional rapper.
even in the face of death. You know who said that? My hero, Rorschach.
Neat.
Yep.
He was mentally stable.
Some amount of years ago on this day, Facebook told me, I recut the movie Watchmen to only be the scenes with Rorschach in them, and it's way better. Like,
Is it?
yeah. It's also only like an hour long.
That's a significant amount of time.
And it ends in the best way possible.
With
You guys ever
Rorschach
watch my cut of that
exploding.
movie?
No. Why would I do that?
Because it's really good.
No, I've seen the movie.
Well, this is better.
I don't need to see a cut up version.
This is
of it.
Watchmen, right?
Yeah.
I haven't watched that movie since it came out.
It was okay.
Well, this is like that, but better.
There was never a Watchmen 2, which means it was a bad movie.
No, that's not.
Yep. That's how Hollywood works.
Tell that to Drive.
Okay.
Done.
You
Drive
got
was a
me.
bad movie.
Drive was the greatest cinematic adventure I've ever been on.
Yeah,
I'm
absolutely.
sorry to hear that for both of you.
There's no Akira 2. There's no,
No, but it has been remastered.
yeah. Trying to think of other good movies with no sequel. There's no I Am Legend 2.
That's because he died.
Screwed up the end of that movie.
I mean, he died at the end of Drive, too.
Did he?
Maybe.
Exactly.
I don't think he did die.
Then why didn't they make another one? Because some stories don't need to be continued.
Yeah.
Yes,
most
they do.
Most of them, in
Most
fact.
stories need to carry on.
No, they don't.
Yes.
They need to stop regurgitating movies. They're like, oh, well, what if I made another one?
Welcome to the Radial Movie Podcast.
Cast.
This
No,
time
it's just-
we're talking about movies and Watchmen and Little Dicky, who's not a movie guy, but
He's
He
a
could be.
professional rapper.
He makes music
technically,
videos.
yes.
He makes music
Well,
videos.
He's much more than you.
Well, yeah, I didn't claim to be a professional rapper.
I'm just a rap fan.
Yeah.
I have we have hats.
We have
that
hats
say
that
this.
say that. Where's your rap fan hat?
I
Yeah,
have a Radio Podcast hat.
so do we. I have two. Get at me.
I only have the one. I almost went off on a Killer Mike tangent that we absolutely should not do.
Yeah, let's not.
What, about rap?
Nope. Anyway, race cars, huh?
Oh, yeah, so check out this race car thing that we got. We got this coaster. Zach sent us a Eyes Up Auto Art coaster. It's got Fernando Alonso on it from last year.
It's really sharp looking.
It is super sharp looking, but
And
now we have
glossy.
to fight over one coaster.
Yeah.
So
Luckily, it
There's
is last year's McLaren, so it actually looks good. Because that would have been a shame if he painted this year's McLaren.
fuck you.
Because then only the two of you would have to fight over it.
Yeah, but
And I doubt
if
you
you
put up
painted this
much
year's
fight.
McLaren, how would we know that it's Fernando Alonso except for the number 14 on it?
Because you can still see his helmet.
Can you?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, the halo.
From that angle.
From that angle, absolutely.
Yes.
Maybe a little bit.
Where are we at this week, guys?
We got Australia to talk about.
Straya.
We got the Australian Grand Prix to talk about.
The home race of Daniel Ricciardo and not Brendan Hartley.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, I like that he has to specifically point that out in meetings with press. Like, this is not my home Grand Prix.
One of the Sky commentators definitely got it wrong too. He was like, Brendan Hartley's home. Oh wait, no, I was wrong.
Speaking of the Sky coverage that we had to watch, because there is no American coverage anymore. What do you guys think?
Yeah, I guess let's start there. Devin, how did you watch this? Did you found like a streaming link and didn't use ESPN, right?
Yeah,
but was it a stream of the ESPN or the stream of this actual Sky feed with the Sky commercials
just
or whatever?
the Sky feed because the ESPN app would not work for me.
But did Sky? Well, because it's the Sky feed for us essentially as well.
Yeah, it was just Sky, no ad breaks.
Oh, you had no ad breaks at all? Okay, so Austin and I watched it via ESPN, and my initial impression was good up to the first commercial break. Whenever they did a side by side of here's commercial and here's racing, I was like, okay, this is a better way of handling this than NBC Sports. But then that impression immediately soured when the break didn't end after 2 or even 3 commercials, and there was like 6 in a row, and they just kept going.
Let me check my notes here. It says, fuck commercials. That's what it says in my notes.
Well, it pays for you to be able to watch things.
I really hope that app's ready soon.
Me too.
I would like that for Bahrain because, again, I legally should have been able to watch this on ESPN and couldn't. Instead, I
think that's
found other means.
ESPN app was broken.
Yeah. It was just like, you don't have access to watch this. And I was like, I absolutely should. ESPN 2 is part of basic cable.
Yeah, just, if you'd like to watch Formula 1, just check Reddit. We're not going to post links to any of that stuff, but it's very easy to find via Reddit.
Yes.
From
sketchy websites.
There's instructions in one of our group posts even.
Yep. Be sure to join the group. Speaking of, it's Radial Podcast Crew on Facebook. I posted in there like 5 minutes ago.
Yeah, I saw that.
Yeah.
Shout me out.
Yeah, you got a shout out about that streaming thing.
Literally about what we're talking about.
Yeah. I think we should probably do that like every week. Just post in the group and say, hey, if you want to contribute to anything on the podcast, post it there.
Maybe more than 5 minutes in advance.
Yeah, time. I mean, maybe more than that. But, if it's random like that and it's fast, then I don't have time to respond and I'll just spew it out.
I woke up this morning slightly concerned that there was going to be a bunch of people asking us questions during the race because I did not look at it at all while we were.
I was trying to
last night. I was too busy watching the race and writing notes.
Yeah,
so
I was busy trying to not fall asleep.
Yeah, I was late
because it was late, and I'm old now.
That's the latest that I've stayed up.
I'm old.
I'm old. That's the latest that I've stayed up in a long time.
Yeah, it was too late. In fact.
I feel like I stayed up for 24 hours recently. I guess that was my charity thing.
Yep.
Was it more recent than that?
Well,
too old to remember.
You drinking?
You nearly stayed up for Daytona.
Oh, that's true. Yeah, Daytona is the thing I stayed up really late for.
Yeah, I don't think I'm going to do that again this year. Like, if it's not... The race is not happening from, 7 a.m. to, 11 p.m.,
yeah,
I'm not interested in trying to stay up to watch it.
If I had somebody else there watching with me, it would be easier to stay up.
It's weird. It's almost like we invited you to join us and talk about it while watching it, and you were like, no.
I had somebody there that was watching, and then they fell asleep, and then it was just me.
So you're saying you could have prevented this problem, and you didn't?
Yes.
Good job.
I mean, Jeff and I were chit-chatting the whole time.
Yeah.
Yep.
It's fine.
That would have been... Also, my Xbox headset broke. So
Really?
Yep.
Ooh. Did your dog break it?
Nope. Just stopped working while I was using it.
Nice.
So that's great.
Bad deal.
Mm-hmm.
Word, y'all want to talk about this race?
Let's talk about...
Jeff, you got notes for practices and qualifying?
No, I have zero practice notes.
I got a practice note.
What's your practice note?
Somebody... Oh, the track, start-finish, timing wire broke or something.
Oh, yes.
And they
had
their, red
Ricardo
flag a session.
A 3-place grid penalty because of not slowing during that red flag.
Yeah.
Or yellow flag.
Red.
Wait.
Oh, this bullshit-ass fucking penalty.
Yeah. I mean, I appreciate that they're treating it as kind of a black and white matter because
This shit's not black and white.
It's better to treat it this way than with more gray area.
Yeah, like if they were just like, well, it's the first race, it's his home race, let's just let it slide. Like
I don't like. I would have liked that applied to him because I like him, but I wouldn't like that in that same scenario. I could see very easily not being a fan of
like
whatever.
If this exact same scenario happened to Lewis in Silverstone, like everybody be fucking pissed if they let it slide.
Yeah.
Okay, fair enough.
So, I want everyone to let Ricardo slide anytime.
Right.
They really shouldn't.
I mean, look at that smile, though.
It's a good smile.
Yeah. You just let it go.
He's a good boy.
He is. He's my boy over at Red Bull.
Yeah.
He's my only boy at Red Bull, but he's my boy at Red Bull.
You.
All right.
Max is good, too.
All right, so I'll run through my qualifying notes. Qualifying started Friday night, our time because of the time difference to Australia, and Q1 was much cooler track temps than in practice because it had been raining that morning. So the track was dry by the time quali started, but the track conditions were nowhere near the same, and the track had been washed out. So all the rubber kind of been washed off.
And the grass was wet, so like you wanted to not get off track and onto the grass.
Correct.
Because that'd be slippy.
So very quickly, just going to run through this. Hulk was the first out on track on Q1. The Ferraris very early set P1 and P2 times. And then, with 9 minutes left in the session, Red Bull set 2 and 3 on their first flying laps. The gap to pole was a tenth of a second during the session, which is an exciting start to things.
Alonso looked pretty good in Q1, didn't he?
I think that was...
I don't know about Q1 because... In Q2,
I think that was free practice 3 that he looked really good.
No, he was upset with his team in free practice 3 because they didn't let him back out on the track.
That was for like the last 3 minutes of the session. The track was dry.
Yeah, I think Force India didn't even go out.
Not to deter. Let's let him finish talking about qualifying.
Then I drew my note here. It's a crying face, and it says Toro Rosso did not make it out of Q1.
Hartley almost did.
Yes, they literally finished like 16th and 18th or something like that.
Gasly went off track and didn't get to finish his last lap. Like he fucked up a corner. And Hartley, I want to say, was like 0.05 away from making it in, which was a bummer. But Toro Rosso was slower.
Yeah, I feel like
I was
their
expecting.
Performance in this race was not the expectation that I feel like I had after
testing.
I wasn't trying to be a negative Nancy, but there was no way they got that much faster. Like, there's no way. So
Force India was really slow. They barely made it into Q2.
That is correct. Force India just they didn't participate in FP3 at all.
Yeah, because they brought like a new aero package that they only had one each for both cars.
That's what they were saying. And then later on, I heard one of the announcers be like, "Oh no, they actually have plenty of aero packages. They just don't want to put the hours on the engines."
Huh?
Yeah, weird. I mean, for them, they said that it didn't make sense for them to go out when the race and qualifying weren't going to be wet. So why would they go out there?
FP3 didn't give them really any useful data.
Yeah. It makes sense to not go out.
Yeah, especially considering that they're
so many
a pretty budget team.
Yeah.
So that's into Q1. Q2, my first note is that Hulkenberg ruined a tire. I don't know what he did. I guess he had a lockup probably. 2 minutes left to go in the session. I got a camera shot of the whistleblower, the person that blows the whistle as cars are coming into the pits. I couldn't figure out like what they were blowing a whistle in correlation to, but there's definitely a person like blowing a whistle at specific intervals as cars are coming into the pits. But it's not like when they first cross the pit line.
I think
there's like a dedicated person on each team, I feel like, that's just sitting there blowing this whistle.
Yeah, I think they're blowing the whistle when the car passes in front of them.
That makes like so little sense. I don't understand.
But just to like let you know, like, oh, there's a car here if you're like facing away from that. Like if you're one of the engineers.
That kind of makes sense.
Maybe.
Yeah. Also, a weird thing. So in Q2, Red Bull went out on super softs.
Yes.
Which is like an obvious strategy decision that seemed like it was baffling the commentators for some reason. They were like, why is they going out on the super softs instead of the ultra softs?
I've come to expect the commentators to not really have great opinions on anything, or like just to be confused by lots of things.
Yeah, I expected better from the Sky commentators. Like, I don't know why, but like it was just like, yeah, so
Just because they're English,
You
can trust
start-
them more because of their accent.
One of them was a Formula One driver.
Well, yeah,
Yeah.
wasn't
Like-
Hobbs in Formula One at one
Yeah,
point?
like
As an
in the
engineer?
40s. Like
Yeah.
Martin Brundle was racing in the 90s.
but for those of you that aren't acquainted, you start, if you make it into Q3, you start the race on the tires
that
you set your fast
fastest
lap
lap
on Q2.
Correct.
So Red Bull is going out in Q2 on super softs to start the race on super softs and stretch out their first stint longer.
Everyone else is on ultra softs.
Yeah.
And Red Bull pretty comfortably sets 5th and 6th grid positions on those super softs, while everybody else is on ultra softs. So like that's where you would expect them to be in relation to the top two, Ferrari and Mercedes.
Yeah.
McLaren didn't make it out of Q2. Alonso got pretty close, but got edged out by one of the Haas's, I think, who both made it into Q3.
How about
Yeah.
the
Both
Haas
Renault.
cars? That's
Haas was looking good this week.
blowing my
Yeah.
mind. Yeah, that's
Haas is looking like they might be the 4th best team.
That is
well. So we got to also remember last year they were really good showing straight out the gate.
Were
Yeah,
they?
that's-
That's last year, right?
no. Well, their debut year.
Their debut, they weren't that good. It's just they got lucky and didn't pit that first race, is how they finished 6th. Like, they got through that first race with 0 pit stops.
How did they not have the
Red
mandatory
flag.
shine?
Oh,
Gotcha.
yeah.
So Alonso
right.
crashed red flag before Haas pitted. Almost everyone else already had. So Haas then got to change tires under the red flag and then start all the way ahead of where, like, I think they, after the red flag, they were in like 3rd or 4th and then lost a couple spots.
That makes sense.
So yeah,
but-
like Haas looking like actively
Really strong
this
season.
year.
Yeah.
Both Renaults also made it into Q3, which is nice.
Yeah.
So it's both Ferraris, both Mercedes, both Red Bulls, both Haas, and both Renaults
Yep.
all making it into Q3.
What was the time difference between Alonso to the nearest car?
No idea.
Okay.
Didn't write anything like actually important
Perfect.
down.
I don't think that it was that far though.
Yeah, no. Like I said, like he was in Q3 up until one of the Haas's finished their lap, or one of the Haas's or one of the Renaults finished their lap and bumped him out. Q3. My first note is Bottas crashes out in the turn 1, turn 2, and he crashed pretty hard. Devin said it was 27 G's of impact.
Yep.
He clipped the curbs a little too hard, turning right into turn 1, and it kind of unsettled the car. And then he got one wheel on the grass, trying to get it corrected on the left side of turn 2, and just slid around, and the whole right side of his car impacted the wall.
Props to him for not breaking his hands or wrists.
The onboard, he's steering and he's trying to fight the car and correct it, and once he realizes he can't correct it, he just lets go of the wheel and holds onto his harness. So
Yep.
smart move there.
Yeah.
But that causes a red flag, which then causes that penalty that we mentioned Ricardo got earlier. And then
No, different red flag.
different one.
Yeah, the red flag,
Oh,
Ricardo,
right. That was in practice.
was from practice.
Yeah. And then the beginning of Q3, or once they resumed, Q3 was looking like it was going to be really exciting because Hamilton, Vettel, and Verstappen were all in with 6/100ths of a second of each other for the top 3 points. And then the top 5 cars were within 3/10ths of each other. So it's really, really tight. And then Hamilton sets the pole lap and is 6/10ths faster than P2.
Do you guys watch that lap?
Yeah,
though?
it was
that lap was
a perfect
tremendous,
lap.
Really good.
It was perfect, and he probably had what people are calling the party mode turned on. It's what,
I mean, it's the same qualifying mode that they use all the time.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
it's nothing that they didn't figure out. Like, well, what if we gave him more horsepower?
Yeah, it's
No,
like,
that's what they always do. In
no,
Q3.
dude, it's like Fast and Furious. You just grab another gear, and then you're
He
just faster.
shifted in a ninth.
hit the nitro button.
So poor Bottas's crew did not sleep at all before the race. He got a 5-place grid penalty because he trashed his gearbox. They replaced the chassis. So they took his engine out, unbolted the broken transmission, put a new transmission on it, and then bolted all of that into a new car.
Yep.
So
Those guys didn't get to sleep.
Yep. So
probably not.
Bottas starting 15th.
Yep,
because
Bottas
of
starting
that.
15th. I do not actually have the grid order. Hamilton's on pole, Vettel's in
Third,
Raikkonen's
Kimmy's in second.
Yeah.
This is cool. Let's tell the beginning of the story and then the end of the story and then the middle of the story.
Yeah, except 3 is not the end. But does anyone have the actual
It
grid?
was Hamilton,
Raikkonen,
Kimmy,
Vettel.
Verstappen, Magnussen, Hulkenberg,
Grosjean.
Grosjean,
Sainz?
Ricardo Sainz.
Ricardo Sainz. And then Alonso's in 9th because of the bump from Bottas.
Yep.
Yep. No, 10th.
Yeah, sorry, 10th.
So
Yeah. So that's how we're looking going into this race.
we bust out my race notes.
Boom.
Boom.
Got my race notes right here.
In
I'm
your
pointing
brain?
at my mind.
You're not pointing at all.
I'm pointing with my mind, too.
Oh, okay. My first note. Let's go.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
My first note is a picture of the Australian flag.
My first
Sure.
note is, boy, I'd sure like it if Ricardo ever got to get a podium in Australia.
That's sad, huh?
Yeah.
He got...
He has a rough showing there every year.
Yeah.
Like, something bad happens to him. Last year, was the real heartbreak where they were
Yeah.
oh, we can't get his car out onto the grid. And then they finally get him to start, 2 laps down from pit lane. And then they're like, no, this has got to retire.
Yep.
Last year was rough for Ricardo.
Yeah, but then he just gets to go kick it in his home country. He'd just leave. I just be like, bye.
Yeah.
Got flip-flop deals to make.
Hell yeah. So,
Lights go out.
yeah, first note I have is K-Mag got a great start and
Yeah.
passed
Yeah.
Max right into turn 1.
Yeah, Max tried to go to the inside of the Ferraris and then had second thoughts, had to brake, and K-Mag just stayed on the outside and was able just to kind of drive around him on the outside of turn 1, and then Max couldn't defend or couldn't recover it on the way back into turn 2
Yeah.
because he was on the outside of K-Mag at that point.
Then after that, everybody starting to fall in line.
There was no...
Fernando was fighting with Carlos Sainz right at the beginning.
One of the back markers, there was some contact.
There was some contact?
Yeah. One of the Toro Rossos hit one of the Saubers, or vice versa. A Toro Rosso's rear wheel hit a Sauber's front wing.
Oh, okay.
Not bad enough, but
I think Hartley had to come in for
Yes.
an early pit stop.
Lap,
Is that right?
lap
Anyone
2,
else
Hartley
else?
came into the pits and came out on softs.
Yeah. Did he make it through? Wait, no. Yeah, he's the one that finished. Spoilers, Gasly does not finish.
speaking of starting at the end.
Did he finish the race on those softs? Do you guys know?
Yes.
Probably.
Wow.
Radio transmission, lap 2 is Red Bull talking to Max like, come on, man, we don't have time for this. In regards to getting by K-Mag.
Yeah.
Devin looks really excited right now.
And that, I thought, was really fucking mean to the Haas. Like, hey, we need to get past this guy. We don't have time for this bullshit. Like,
I'm with them. This is bullshit. Where
I
did
mean-
this Haas team come from?
yeah.
That is true.
I was
Coming
really...
into this race, it was whatever, Haas is going to finish 12th.
Yeah. But yeah, Haas is continuing to look strong. And, Max was fighting with K-Mag for a while.
On harder tires, to be fair.
Yep.
Max is on supers. Literally everybody else, except for, I guess,
Ricardo and Hartley.
Hartley, was on
Ultras.
Ultras.
Lap 5, Daniel Ricciardo got by Nico Hulkenberg.
Yes, he did.
And then lap 6, Sirotkin's out. I have a commercial break.
Yep.
I don't fucking know what's happening.
Sorokin's brakes
Yeah.
failed.
Oh, it was his brakes? Yeah, we have no idea what
We had
happened.
this stupid commercial where we don't know what's happening. We just see
There's
his
all
car
this
stop.
team radio, and we see him pulling into the garage. I'm like, huh. Oh, wait, no, he didn't pull into the
He
garage.
didn't pull in the garage. He
we
went
just
to an
see
exit
him-
lane.
Yeah, we're like, where? He's not on the track. And we see team radio happening, but we got to learn about the new Carl's Jr. sandwich.
Oh, how's that look?
I was...
Probably gross.
Yeah, it didn't look great.
I mean, I'd probably eat it.
Carl's Jr.
Carl's Jr.'s all right.
If it doesn't get all over the place, it doesn't belong in your face.
What a disgusting fucking tag.
Yeah. Just
Ugh.
ugh.
But yeah,
This episode brought to you by Carl's Jr.
his brakes failed.
okay.
Is what went.
So
on
he's
there.
got the 2017 Haas brakes.
Yes.
Great. I mean, they are Ferrari teams.
Yeah, this is my first commercial brake complaint in here.
Sorokin?
Oh, right. He's
Williams.
Williams.
Yep.
Sorry, I was thinking he was a Sauber.
And then lap 7, Ericsson in pits. Retired? Question mark?
Yeah, I also have
Fuck
a retired
commercials.
question mark because we were still in commercials for this.
Yeah, they didn't really ever explain. I don't
That's
think
the
what
one that
happened
we
to
saw
Ericsson.
him they pulled up and we're like, they're not. They look like they're taking their time. I'm like, that car's retiring.
Yeah.
And
Yeah,
sure
like
enough,
we
see
didn't
him
know.
climbing out.
And so, aside, the graphic on the left-hand side of the screen is just showing him
In pit.
pits.
Yeah.
So we
And
have no idea what's going on, and it's like that for 3/4 of the race.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was in pits for a very long time. Devin, do you know what actually happened to his car?
I don't know what happened to
We
him.
don't know what happens to his car either.
Thanks, commercials.
And then the next note that I have is Max spins down to 8th position
Yeah.
on lap 10 in turn 1.
Yep, I have that same note. Just, pushing, trying to get by K-Mag, and I think he's just getting frustrated.
Yep.
Spun that car,
Very
though, with
Perfectly.
Perfect,
supreme precision, was facing the right direction coming out of the spin.
Was facing the right direction, was not in the traffic lane, and was able to just resume with, relatively speaking, very minimal impact to his race.
Yeah.
Apparently his car had broken a little bit a few laps earlier. Quote from Christian Horner. He got a bit wide in turn 11-12 on lap 6, and that damaged the rear diffuser and created a significant imbalance for him. So he was apparently struggling with a broken rear diffuser for
The entirety of the
52
race,
laps.
basically. Yeah.
Sweet. Lap 15, Pierre Gasly has problems, told the box. Puff, 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 poof. That's what I have there from his engine.
Were we in commercial for this too?
I think we were, but it came back and it showed me.
Yeah, basically we just see Gasly kind of coasting down part of the track, and we're trying to figure out what happened, and then they show the replay of him going over the curbs out of the exit of a turn, and then just this big puff of smoke out of the back, and it's I think he just lost his turbo.
Yeah, he had a couple small puffs and then a big.
Yeah. So
plume of
I don't
smoke.
know if it was vibrations or bouncing from the curbing that helped to cause it, because it seemed very coincidentally timed, but it turns out it was the MGU-H that failed on his Honda powered Toro Rosso.
Yeah, and that was a bummer to see.
Yeah.
I was really hoping both Toro Rossos would at least finish this
Yeah,
race.
same.
He was trying to limp back around the pits, and then his team came over the radio and was like, hey, you need to pull over to the side.
Yeah, I hope that this is not
Indicative of the rest
indicative
of the
rest of the season. I
Same.
hope that they do well and that this is an anomaly.
We should mention one thing you guys didn't have in your notes. So far this entire race, up until this spin, Verstappen had been just dogging K-Mag.
Yes.
And similarly, Kimi had been just dogging Lewis up front. Kimmy had been on Lewis pretty hard.
Yeah, he was staying
for,
relatively close to
the
him
first
for that part
10
of that
laps.
race. Yeah.
And then eventually started to fall back a bit.
And the next thing I know, there's 2-second gap to Kimmy.
Yeah.
And then a
Yeah, that's
3-second
all I
gap to
remember
Kimi.
from looking up, which is why I just looked at you weird. I looked up and there's a 3-second delta between the two of them. So, I mean, they weren't really showing that.
Yeah, but
there were other
because
battles
there-
going on.
Yeah.
That wasn't really
But yeah, anytime they cut back to them, around the first 10 laps, Kimmy was right there. And it looked like, he might keep making these moves. But it seems like passing was very hard in general.
Yeah,
in
I
this
mean, that's
race.
kind of been the theme of the last 2 years, is these cars are so aero-dependent that it's hard to actually get around other cars.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I got lap 18. Kimmy goes into the pits, comes out on softs. Lap 19, Hamilton boxed and goes back out on softs.
22 Max does the same.
I got a note here before that one. Update the fucking graphic. Ericsson's still shown in pits. He's been out for 13 laps. Gasly is also out. It will not update those two things.
And then after a little while, Gasly was reflected as out, but
Oh, yeah, and then underneath him was Ericsson still in pits.
Yeah.
I was like,
and then
okay.
Ericsson was still like, he was position 19 while the other two didn't have position indicators
Yeah, it
anymore.
was showing like Gasly like with a 2.33 second delta to the car in front of him for a while. It's like,
Yeah.
what?
Yeah, it's just like, ugh. At one point, I don't remember which two drivers it was even, but it's just like two drivers.
No, that's
changed.
lap 38.
Okay.
So we'll get there. I like that moment. I made a note.
So now that Hamilton and Kimi are in the pits, Vettel has taken first place.
Yep.
And he stays out.
Yep, he's still on his ultras.
Not responding to those two's pit stops.
I got lap 22. Bottas is fighting Perez, but he's struggling.
Yeah, which is weird to see.
The commentators were saying that the Mercedes chassis does not like being behind other cars. So,
I mean, I don't think any of the cars like being behind other cars.
yeah, but I would imagine that the Mercedes chassis is specifically designed to be in front of everyone all the time. So, yeah, Bottas kind of surprisingly not just charging
He's
through
just
the
kinda,
field.
yeah, like hanging out pretty calm throughout this entire race. He doesn't really do anything
It's
exciting.
a clear, like, I feel like he is the best indicator of it being hard to pass in that he started towards the back and didn't make it up that far.
Yeah. I got lap 23. Carlos Sainz locks up and goes off. Alonso gets up to P7.
Yep.
Go Alonso. 23, K-Mag's into the pits.
Oh boy, here we go.
Yeah, here we go.
Here we go.
with
The
this.
start of the nightmare for Haas's weekend.
K-Mag comes out of the pits and he's going pretty slow. And K-Mag comes over the radio and says it's a suspension failure. But the rear left Haas mechanic did not get the wheel all the way on.
Yeah, we didn't really have a clear idea of what was happening at this. We see like the Haas, we see him pulling over, and then we see a cut of the Haas garage, and you just see one of the pit mechanics like slamming a door, and we're like,
Yeah, he like got up and walked into like another room in the garage, slammed the door. He's fucking mad.
and we're like, okay, I guess that they probably had a wheel nut problem.
And it showed like the replay of them being in the pits, and like they sent the
dude-
car and he's shaking his head.
He just like stands up and is like, "Did that? Oh shit! No, was it all?" And then like somebody standing there with their hands crossed, indicating that they weren't actually ready, and he's just like, you can just see his body posture just kind of slump, like, "Oh fuck."
yeah, especially because they're doing so.
We
fucking
retired
well.
that
I'd be
car because
so
of me. Yeah, 'cause they're
mad.
They're in 5th and 6th at this point.
I think so, yeah.
Yeah.
And then lap 24, the yellow comes out for sector 1.
Mm-hmm.
What the fuck is going on with the graphic is my next note, because it's still wrong.
Oh yeah.
They got K-Mag out of there pretty quickly, right?
Yeah,
I think so.
They got him out pretty quickly. So my note is K-Mag is out lap 24 because of the wheel nut. Sector 1 gets a yellow, and then Ocon comes in and grabs soft tires during that Sector 1 yellow. And then the next lap, Rogro comes into the pits.
Yep, lap 25.
And
then got a commercial.
Then we
Really?
see, I mean, it was the side-by-side still,
Oh,
but
okay.
yeah. So then we see Rogro come out of the pits and immediately pull off the track as well. And I'm like, what happened to this car?
Yeah.
And they show us a thing, and it's the exact same thing except with the front left wheel nut instead of the rear left wheel
my
nut.
notes here are Rogro stops, commercial. I don't know why Rogro stops. He's pissed! Exclamation point. Me too! Exclamation point. Fuck commercials. So
Yeah.
So basically, we get a shot of K-Mag riding on the back of somebody's dirt bike while Rogro's getting out of his car, like because they failed that close to each other.
Yeah.
yeah, that's the worst fucking
Haas
luck.
was looking so promising throughout
Yeah,
this
Haas
race.
was looking like they were going to get their best result of their history.
Because Rogro is stopped out there on a straight. A
They
VSC
deployed
comes
the
out.
virtual safety car.
This shouldn't have been a virtual safety car because there was something on track. There was an on-track danger, so it should have just been safety car.
Yeah, eventually they did bring out the real safety car.
Yes.
But not before.
Yeah,
Vettel goes
but
into
so
the pits.
lap 27, Vettel boxes during the virtual safety car. He comes out on softs in front of Hamilton.
Yep.
And it's got something to do, basically, because Hamilton had to follow the virtual safety car delta limits, Vettel didn't have to adhere to the same things in the pit entry, I think. So he was able to gain a little bit of time over Hamilton to where he didn't lose as much time in the pits and was able to come out still in front of Hamilton.
Yeah.
So it's like this weird kind of gap loophole.
Dumb luck had it to where Ferrari could retain the lead.
And you hear Hamilton come on the radio that's just like, "What? How is he in front of me? Like,
what the hell happened, guys?
What, did I do something wrong? Why did you guys tell me this?" And they're like, "We're looking into it."
They're trying to figure out what the fuck happened.
Literally, like, there's nothing Mercedes could have done to fix that other than having not pitted when they did. Like, it's just he's able to pit.
Yeah,
like
there's
this,
been a lot of
it's
fuss
unfortunate.
about like, oh, should the pits just be closed during a virtual safety car? But like, virtual
That doesn't
safety
make
cars
sense.
come out when cars are damaged, so you can't close the pits.
Yeah. I don't know. I think it's fine. It's racing. Like
I mean, this
Like,
is part
it
of
could-
racing.
yeah,
this is
it-
total luck. This
So-
has nothing to do with skill. It's just a luck thing.
But just like closing off the pits during that, it's like
I don't think that doesn't make any
doesn't
sense.
seem necessary.
While the virtual safety car is out, Bottas comes in and grabs some super softs. So he's the only one that switched to super softs instead of going to just the yellow soft compound.
Danny Rick also came in at that time and got some softs during the
Yes.
VSC.
And Verstappen also.
Yeah. And then right after all those guys pitted,
Safety car.
full
proper.
safety car comes out, which is great for really all of us because both Ferrari, or I guess Hamilton and Vettel were kind of up there by themselves.
Yeah.
I don't know where Raikkonen was.
I think he'd gotten a
But
bit far
essentially,
back.
what the safety car does over the virtual safety car is basically everybody maintains where they're at on the track in relation to each other.
Yeah,
like
so,
their
like,
position doesn't
maintains
change,
the gaps.
but if someone's in turn 1 while someone else is going in through turn 11, they're going to be like that every single lap of the thing. They're not getting any closer or further apart from each other track position wise.
Yeah, the VSC is made to kind of like stop any changes from happening.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
You can't make up time to somebody, but you in theory shouldn't be able
yeah,
to lose
it's,
time to
it
somebody.
is supposed to neutralize the race.
Yeah.
But then during the actual safety car, the cars all queue up behind the safety car, which is great because that means now the Red Bulls are right up next to the Ferraris.
So this is like a weird thing. So like that virtual safety car should have never happened because Rogro's car was on the track whenever it stopped. So safety car should have been what they went to, period.
Yeah.
So that was a weird thing that I had written down here.
Yeah, but
Like maybe they thought they could get rid of it quicker than
his
they did.
car
I'm not
was-
sure.
in a like relatively safe spot, I think is why they did that. Like it was on the
It was
far
away
inside,
from the racing
inside
line. But
that
it was
all the
on
cars-
the track. It was physically on the track.
Yeah.
Yeah, sort of. I mean, it was outside of the track boundaries, like the line that you shouldn't cross all four wheels with.
Yeah.
But it, which is still technically part of the track. But in reality, the chances of somebody hitting it are almost nil.
It's almost nil, but it's
Yeah.
on track.
Yeah.
So, yeah, they deploy. I mean, there's a reason why they deployed the safety car. It's because they couldn't get the car off the track.
Yeah, I'm assuming that they were thinking that we could just, we'll just roll it back, and which is what they ended up doing in the end anyway. But I guess it took them longer than they expected to do, so they
Yeah.
put the full safety car out.
Also,
And then a proper commercial came out.
on the proper on
And some
proper.
weirdness happened during this.
So during like Verstappen's pit stop, he came out just barely ahead of Alonso. But actually, what happened is he came out of the pits a tenth of a second behind Alonso, but overtook him, and then he had to give back that spot. So now Alonso is ahead of Verstappen.
I
So
feel like that's the opposite of what I saw. I saw Max not coming out of the pits, but Alonso coming out of the pits.
Yeah, what I saw was Alonso was coming out of the pits during the
and
safety
Verstappen
car.
passes him on the outside.
Verstappen
Okay.
did pass him, like as he was coming out. He was out of the pits, but on the other side of that pit line.
Yeah.
And then Verstappen passed him, like right as that VSC yellow was flashing, or
Gotcha.
the safety car yellow was flashing, which he did pass under yellow.
Well,
Okay.
I feel like we've got some disagreement on this, at least between Austin and I, because while Alonso was still technically
he was
on
not
the
in the
track,
pits,
he wasn't allowed to merge into the normal part of the track yet, though.
but he was not in the pits.
But he couldn't defend from Verstappen or whatever. He couldn't cross that solid white line as Verstappen
But
passed
was
him.
not in the pits.
Then why didn't he not let Verstappen around him? Or why did he let Verstappen around him?
Probably because he wasn't trying to be competitive under a yellow.
Yeah, he probably didn't think Verstappen was actually going to do that. but Verstappen was just like, all right, he's still in the, I don't know.
It's kind of a weird thing. Like, they were literally as close to the edge of the pits as you can be, sort of.
Yeah, and it was like, again, literally a tenth apart.
Like, Verstappen didn't exceed the safety car delta while he was doing this, or the VSC delta while he was doing this. So it's kind of this, in my mind, it's a gray area of, can he keep that position, or does he have to give it back?
So, like, it had been like a lap later behind the safety car, and Verstappen waved Alonso by.
Yeah, he ends up waving him by.
Didn't Verstappen lose a podium because he did something weird in a passing situation? Like, I'm sure that his team came and was like, we don't want to fuck with this dude. Just give him the position.
Yeah, there was some team radio during this time that Austin and I were in commercial break for, so we have no idea what they told him, but I assume that there's some conversation about you need to let him have that position back.
And it's like, it took Alonso a while to like notice
realize what he was doing.
Max was trying to wave him
because it turns out
it's like,
yeah, I mean, it turns out you can't.
T-Rex arms, you can't stick your arm.
He's
because
like, he's reaching across his body out the right side of the car to try to wave.
Yeah, because like the cockpit of the car like comes up to over your shoulders, above your neck, even on the side. So like, you can't get your right arm up high enough to get it outside of the right side of the car. The best chance you have is trying to stick your left side across your body out. And your shoulder can't come off the back of the car because you're strapped in so tight. So really, like, you could basically just get your hand past your body, and that's about it.
Oh, man. Little aside here. What if the drivers could talk to each other and they could just talk shit to each other the whole race? I think that'd be pretty entertaining.
That'd be entertaining, but bad.
That would be bad. There would be a lot more people just ramming each other.
So, running order now is Vettel, Hamilton, Raikkonen, Ricardo, Alonso, Verstappen.
Yep.
And then after that, who cares? Joking,
It's
but I don't remember. Probably Hulkenberg, I think.
Yeah,
next.
it's a Renault. And
it's
then,
definitely Hulkenberg because I remember the commentators fucking it up.
And then it's Bottas behind him.
Then Bottas, and then Van Dorn, I think.
Yes.
And then Sainz.
Yes.
Lap 31, we go green.
Hell yeah.
I have a note here. Vettel's doing that thing that he rammed Lewis for. Just brake checking everybody to get them all backed up.
Yep, just like everybody always does.
That everyone does.
Yeah, I know. I just, I'm pointing out hypocrisy.
They're race car drivers. That's what they're full of.
Yep. Bottas is fighting Stoffel then. Running order at green. Oh, I did have this written down.
Oh. So it sounds like I got Stoffel and Bottas reversed.
It is Vettel, Hamilton, Raikkonen, Ricardo, Alonso, Verstappen, Hulkenberg, Van Dorn, Bottas, Sainz.
And that's the top 10.
Yes.
Some really bad commentary at this moment of Hulkenberg is trying to pass Verstappen, and the commentator sees this as Ricardo passing Hulkenberg.
Yeah.
And I was just like, what the fuck?
Wasn't this the time, too, when they started talking shit about the Halo, and they're like, I can't see helmets?
Yeah, I was like, oh, I can't see helmets. Well, you can't see the fucking camera pod, dipshit? Like, you should be able to at least tell Verstappen and Ricardo apart.
I actually have a really hard time remembering which one is which.
Yeah,
based on camera pod.
Number one driver.
I just looked for the numbers.
Is it? I thought yellow was.
No.
I can't ever keep it straight in my mind.
I mean, these people are professionals who get paid to do this. They should know that. But I look for the car number.
Yeah,
but I do recognize that my easiest way to just know was the helmet.
Yeah. Really, I never looked at helmets. I only ever looked at the camera pod.
That's what I looked at.
Yeah, so the yellow camera pod is for the number 2 driver, generally.
The less tenured driver.
Yeah, sometimes it's
is the politically correct way to refer to it, because we don't have a number 1 driver.
Kimi is number 2, but
yeah, let's be real here. At Ferrari,
Ferrari's got number 1 and number 2 drivers. I feel like.
Yeah.
No, there's no. I feel like that is what it is.
I don't know that they've explicitly stated.
I think they've explicitly stated it's not that, but it definitely is. It is
definitely that. If you look at the history of Ferrari and how they treat their drivers, it is. It has
Monaco
always
2017.
been that way.
And then my next and final note is lap 38. Bad graphics / great graphics. They're trying to show the Hamilton fighting with Vettel to get P1, and it just says last name versus last name.
Yeah, it's fucking stupid.
It was great.
Around this time, there's the 1-2 battle between
there's the
Vettel and Hamilton, the 3-4 battle, and the 5-6 battle. Like, all three of those are happening.
Was like 5 cars for a little while.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then eventually Alonso and Verstappen kind of pull away from the rest of that pack.
Yep.
Lap 47, Hamilton comes on the radio, says, "Can I push yet? You know you want it. I'm just going to do it."
Yeah.
And then he just...
This is very one-sided radio communication.
Yeah, he doesn't even wait for a response. He's just like, "Fuck you guys. Like, I'm doing this." And then immediately locks up into the 12-13 complex and gets 2.9 seconds behind.
Yeah. And that was a bummer because I was like, "Oh shit, he's gonna give it to him."
So right
And then
after
he
that, in
gives
those
it
laps
to
that
himself.
following, he closed 1.9 seconds in like 4 laps.
Yeah,
I feel like
he
that's
did
the
close
time
back
that they
up.
were like, "Go ahead and add more fuel.
Yeah. And so
You can fix this."
he cranks it up and gets back within DRS range,
and
and
it's
then
just he sets like 6 fast laps in a row. I feel
yeah,
like.
and then he immediately just turns the car back down and just gives up, and that delta goes from being 1 second to like 5 seconds before the end of the race. Like he just backs way off.
Yeah. I think at a certain point it was just like, we risk losing everything if we try and take this.
Yep.
We don't need this that
Hamilton's
badly.
trying to save face from him talking shit in
Yeah.
the driver's press meeting.
Yeah.
So
Well, there's no saving face from that.
yeah.
Yeah, speaking of, I guess we didn't mention that, which was like in the driver press briefing.
Vettel says maybe Hamilton parties today, but we'll party tomorrow. Right, Kimmy and I will party tomorrow. But talking about Hamilton and his party mode thing.
Yeah. And Hamilton's like, "Yeah, I don't really have like a party mode. I just put in a killer lap, wanted to wipe the smile off your face."
Yeah. Yeah. Vettel was smiling at the end of that race. So.
Yep.
He was stoked.
God damn, that is just some
Forza
luck,
Ferrari.
though. Yeah, that is
Yeah.
karma for Hamilton. talking
Essentially,
shit.
the last thing that happens in this race is Bottas gets around one person to take, what, 8th?
8th,
Yeah.
he gets past Van Dorn.
Hang on. I have a note here. Something that we're all going to laugh about. Lap 50, Sainz comes over the radio, struggling with my stomach,
It was
driving with nausea.
Yeah, it was kind of an unclear communication, and so like it comes across the radio, and they're trying to. The commentators are doing an awful job of figuring out what he says, and I'm like, did he say struggling with stomach?
Yeah.
That doesn't make sense. And then, as Devin found out later, apparently his drink pump was just on and just pouring water, and his solution to fix this problem was just to continuously drink water.
That seems like a fucking
So he was
mistake.
just bloated.
Yeah.
He was, and then eventually, like, he got too full to keep drinking the water that it was like force feeding him, and he just like let it into his suit, and then his suit was getting all wet, and then during the safety car he threw up some.
They're wearing the baklava, so he's like throwing up on himself, like all down his chin and his neck and his chest, and that sounds like an...
But like,
Poor
Oh,
Sainz had a
God,
rough
that's
day.
so
poor dude,
horrible.
but like, fucking good on him finishing 10th though.
No, like...
Yeah.
He got points.
Yeah, like that's
point.
one hell
A
of a
point,
way
yeah.
to finish that race. But damn, like the smell of throw up would make me throw up even more.
Yeah.
Like,
Hopefully it was just he threw up water and basically
Yeah.
that's it.
Yeah. He just kind of, like, his English can be hard to understand at times, and he was kind of hurriedly talking to Will Buxton, so he didn't, like, say how much he, like, threw up, or, like, explain it in that much detail. He's like, "Yeah, there's a safety car, I threw up some." It's like, oh, jeez.
oh God,
Oh,
yeah.
no, yeah.
I have the finishing order here written down. It was Vettel with the win, Hamilton, Raikkonen, Ricardo, Alonso, Verstappen, Hulkenberg, Bottas, Van Dorn, Sainz, Perez, Ocon, Leclerc, Stroll, Hartley, and then out I had Grosjean, Kevin Magnussen, and
Gasly,
then,
Ericsson.
yeah. So,
It's rocking.
and then underneath that I have fuck commercials written down,
Ah.
very large.
Oh, that is large.
That is large.
We didn't get to see a victory lap because we went.
Oh
to
yeah, they
commercial.
went to a full commercial for us to where
Yeah.
we didn't get the side by side
We
anymore.
didn't get to see them get out of the cars.
So essentially, we saw
The second signs crossed the line, I turned my shit off and went to bed.
we saw.
And I was like, that's all the points.
I feel like
Done.
we saw Vettel go into turn 1 right after finishing the race, commercial, and the next thing we know, they're in that little like
There's no
velvet
green
roped
room.
off area.
Yeah, there was no, like,
There's no green room. They didn't stop the pits,
weird.
like or the cars in the pits.
Well,
Yeah.
it's sort of.
They were not in the pit lane like they usually are,
They were basically just in a bay of the pit lane.
where people can't see the cars anymore. Like they put them into a bay out of public sight.
It was weird.
Yeah, there's no green room. Most of that was And then they just immediately like run upstairs. There's no banter between drivers.
Vettel
or
literally
anything.
ran upstairs.
Yeah.
They just ran upstairs.
Well, there could have
Sprayed
been, like, because
champagne.
we didn't see anybody get out of the car. They could have said things to each other then. We had
Maybe,
idea.
but
because we didn't see Hamilton or Raikkonen take their helmets off.
I looked
Yeah.
at the recap this morning because I was like, oh, I want to see the green room shit, and there wasn't any. So I was like, oh, fuck this. I don't.
Yeah.
Like, I'll catch these podium
Just
interviews later if
put
they're
the
interesting.
podium ceremony stuff. Seems like it's gonna just be pretty boring if they stay on this.
I hope it was just this race for some reason. There was no green room because, like, the green room
I feel like
is really good.
it's an actual room inside of most of them, and I just feel like maybe they don't have one in Australia.
Yeah, I
I'm
don't
curious.
remember.
That doesn't sound right.
We might go look at the 2017 podium
Yeah.
to see what it was like. Maybe it was
But
the exact same setup.
The green room is always fun because you occasionally get some nice like shit talking because it is just like the drivers top three like immediately after
Someone's
the
like,
race.
oh dude, I almost had you, and someone's like, nah man, you never had yourself.
And then Kvyat's like, oh,
Not double clutching like you should.
what's your problem? He's like, you almost fucking crashed into me, you dick.
Yeah.
Or like Lewis throwing a hat
At Nico.
fucking Nico
Yeah.
Rosberg, and then him getting all pissy about it. Throw it back.
Yeah.
Speaking of Nico Rosberg, fuck Nico Rosberg.
Yeah, he was in like the Sky coverage or whatever.
Yeah, I think he just works for them now.
All right, so
I
I
like
was talking to Jeff about this when we were in our Xbox Live party or whatever. So
or
Nico,
whatever. That's exactly what it was.
Nico Rosberg retired from Formula One so that he could spend time with his wife and daughter, and then is just immediately hired and just traveling the world again with Formula One.
Yeah,
Yep.
but maybe with his wife and daughter.
He would have been with his wife and daughter anyway.
Yeah,
You just
but-
bring them with you.
But now it's like more vacation because he's like, I don't have to go to all these practice things. I just
He
show
has
up
to
on
be a
race
TV
day.
coverage guy.
Was he there for any of their practice days?
I don't know.
I don't know.
We didn't see any of them. I watched all three. What
I think.
Words. I watched all 3 free practices.
What I think is that Nico Rosberg's a little bitch and didn't want to defend his title.
I kind of like the bit where
Lewis Hamilton seems to think the same.
Yeah.
Lewis Hamilton absolutely thinks the same, and basically said explicitly that at one point.
Yeah. I was like, God damn, Lewis, you can't stop yourself from talking shit on Nico, which is understandable.
Nico
'cause
started
fuck
this
Nico.
shit talking.
Yeah.
So,
I like, who was it? What's the guy's name that was doing Ted Kravitz?
Yeah.
He was the one that was walking down pit lane before the race, and he ran into Nico, and he was like, oh, they kind of seem like they're busy. And Nico's like, yeah, they don't want to talk to you more than anyone else out here.
yeah.
And he's like, oh, why is that? And Nico's just like,
Yeah, just smiling.
I'm not answering that.
Yeah. Yeah, I thought that was pretty funny. Like, that dude's trying to talk to people, and, like, Lewis Hamilton's got, like, a mob around him, and he's just, like,
And
looking at
just,
the ground, like, don't
cruising
fucking talk
by.
to me.
He's
Like,
like,
fuck this.
no, wait.
I got grid kids to stand by.
Yeah.
So,
It's kind of neat that all those kids got F1 fire suits.
That is neat.
I want an F1 fire suit.
well, good news. They make them in youth sizes only.
Oh.
So I'll buy like 5.
and just
and
stitch
stitch
them
'em
together.
together.
Just
Yeah.
wear one fire suit per limb.
Yes.
Just wear, like, a 5-year-old's fire suit on one of your arms. Just,
my arm goes through the leg and out the opposite arm. Zip this up. There we go.
Let's maybe mention the Constructors' Championship real quick as well.
Yes.
So, because of Bottas finishing kind of down low,
Ferrari
has
is
a
out
commanding
front.
advantage. Ferrari in first place with 40 points, Mercedes in second with 22, Red Bull in third with 20, McLaren in fourth with 12, and not McLaren again, but Renault in fifth with 7. Everyone else pointless.
Interesting to note, McLaren scored 40% of their total 2017 constructors points in the first race of the 2018 season. They scored 30 points in 2017 and got 12 today.
Oof.
Fernando came over the mic after the race
So we can fight.
and was like, we can fight. Like, he's stoked.
Hell yeah.
He's stoked. And, like, I'm pretty stoked, too. I'm happy to see them.
Yeah,
I
like-
feel like they performed better than they set an expectation for coming out.
Yeah, coming
of
out of testing,
winter
it was
testing.
like,
It was
oh
like-
boy, is Toro Rosso going to whip everyone's ass, and McLaren's probably still going to be bad.
Yeah.
So-
And now it's like, oh, McLaren's like I think probably Haas is the actual fourth best team.
Mm-hmm. We'll see.
And
We'll
I think,
see if they can
I think
keep it up.
McLaren's maybe fifth.
I think Haas struggles with mid-season development.
Yeah.
Well, people were saying is essentially that car that they have is the 2017 Ferrari.
Yeah.
So,
That looks good. You made this?
yeah.
I made this.
No, I made this.
Gene Haas made this.
Gene Haas has to be pissed.
He's so fucking mad. What's he doing, Jeff? What's he doing in the back?
This is back there, the CNC machine fucking printing out a sword.
He's gonna fucking murder the wheel guys.
Oh, speaking of murdering those wheel guys, Grosjean's giving him a nice little hug.
Yeah, that was like...
It's okay, buddy.
Oh,
It's
it's
okay.
not okay.
Grosjean seems like a really nice guy.
He sure
does
is
seem like a
French.
really
I
nice
kind
guy.
of like Grosjean.
I like Grosjean a lot.
Yeah.
Like-
I mean, he's a former Lotus boy.
He even
He was-
posted an Instagram story of him smiling, saying like, "I'm headed home," and I was like, "Oh, it's pretty cool of you to be able to still smile after that," because I would be
I'd be so
losing my mind. For the
I'm
next
sure
3
K-Mag
days.
was just like had a bottle of scotch in his fucking hands. He's like, I'm gonna fucking kill one of you guys. Suck my balls, mate. Like that's such rotten luck for those
Yeah.
dudes. But
Yeah.
awesome first showing.
Yeah.
You know, I don't. I think it is the first race. I don't want to like.
Yeah,
This is how the
It's-
whole season's gonna go.
yeah. Like people after qualifying, people were like, "This is going to be a terrible season," just because of how much of a lead Hamilton had over the P2 spot. Like up until he set that lap, they're like, "This is going to be a great season," and then Hamilton beats him by 6/10, and they're like, "This is going to be an awful season. This is 2017 all over again." Blah 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 blah.
I mean, 2017 was pretty good.
it was pretty
Well,
good.
Up until the Malaysia, really, and then it was like, well, we know how this ends.
Yeah.
Or not Malaysia, Singapore. Sorry.
But this
And
is
then
the
I feel like this was the midfield was competitive.
yeah.
There's going to be a lot of interesting.
And it was
midfield
not
battles.
what we thought it was going to be. Like, where the hell is Force India?
And
Yeah, Force India,
Force India
was
is
just kind of
not
lame this
there.
entire race. Just,
Yeah.
well, we're back where it turns out 12th is where we live.
although I think running, like seeing them in motion, the Force India is my favorite livery.
Well, you're wrong.
You're entitled to be wrong.
Fucking the Ferrari also. I was shocked by how ugly it is. I think it actually might be worse than the McLaren.
Can I get a graphic of ours that has, instead of, like, it's got the silhouette, but instead of saying Radio Podcast, it just says last name?
Oh, man.
That sounds like a lot of work.
I don't think that sounds like a lot of work. I can do it.
I don't believe you.
I'm going to fiddle fart with that later. I'm going to try to make
Okay.
that.
What,
And can
with
you
this
get that?
font?
Nah.
No.
With the F1 font.
Yeah,
Okay.
I might try to use the F1 font. Like, can you just put that in the store, though, afterwards?
If you make it, it'll go on sale.
It's got to have a, you got to make it a vector, though.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can do that.
All right.
Oh, man. What else? I had something else to say, too.
It's a good
forgot.
shirt.
Ferrari doesn't have a goddamn sponsor on their goddamn wing.
Yeah, that
Like,
was kinda
I was
weird.
like, what the fuck is
Just
this?
seeing
Like
their
red
blank
ass wing.
Red wing was kind of weird.
They'll
How
put
did I
something
not
on
notice
there.
that before?
They'll get something. It's Ferrari. I'm sure they can get sponsorships. like,
This
whoa.
is bizarre.
One thing that I noticed, the little, so you know the battle, I'm going to call it the battle graphic they had, where it was like person's name here, and then the car image in the middle, and like the arrows showing them getting closer or getting further apart. It's interesting that that graphic doesn't have a halo depicted on it when it is most assuredly large enough to be able to have one. Just-
It does, in fact, not have one.
I did not notice that.
Yep.
I just thought that was kind of interesting.
Lots of the commentating team shit talking the Halo because they haven't really had an opportunity to yet.
Yeah, the Sky Guy shit all over the Halo all weekend.
Yeah. Trying to think if there's anything else from this race of major importance. It was a
We
good
weren't
race.
there.
It was an exciting race to watch.
I felt like the whole race was pretty good to watch.
Yep.
Yep, I agree. I'm more excited for the rest of this season after
Yeah,
this race. I feel like the kind of things to watch is going to be the fight for the top three of McLaren, Ferrari, Red Bull, and then also.
You mean Mercedes? You said McLaren.
Oh gosh, yes, I did not mean McLaren in the top three. Christ.
I look forward to that day returning.
Yeah, see you in like 5 years. And so aside from Mercedes, Ferrari, and Red Bull, so that fight for the top three, I feel like it's also going to be really exciting watching McLaren, Haas,
Renault.
fighting out for
Maybe
the
Force
midfield.
India just based off historical.
Yeah, I mean,
maybe Force India if they get their shit together. Maybe Toro Rosso if they get their shit together.
I don't know.
Let's not call it based on just the one race, right? Like,
yeah.
Yeah, I'm not.
Well, I'm
calling it,
not.
but
I'm just saying like that's what I want to
looking forward
watch
to that
now.
being a recurring thing. Hopefully, like the multiple teams fighting for things versus just.
I'm looking forward
there's these
to
two.
further development on the Renault and McLaren cars. Looking forward to see good fights there at the front between Seb and Hamilton all season.
Yeah.
I do like that Sky talks to Christian Horner instead of Zach Brown.
Yeah,
Even
Christian
though I
Horner
don't like
is...
Christian Horner, he's way better than listening to Zach Brown's fat ass talk about nothing.
Whoa.
You heard it.
I mean, I don't disagree. Like, like all the shit last season with Zach Brown and Eric Boulier fucking sucked.
Yeah.
And Christian Horner
They were basically just like, "Yup, we're gonna skirt around talking about how pissed we are with Honda." And
oh yeah,
like last year, they're just like, "We're gonna not really answer things." Christian Horner was kind of like, "Yeah."
he's like, yeah.
What do you guys want to know? Let me turn around and put this chair backwards while I sit on the pit wall and look at the camera across pit lane and talk to you guys. I was like,
I did not notice that.
Fuck.
Christian Horner's cool.
No,
Fuck
he's
you guys.
He is
not.
cool.
I did like that he would talk
hater.
candidly about like Toro Rosso, and he's like, "Yeah, like we're keeping a close eye on them, and
Yeah.
kind of happy with the development that's going on. Like that's cool." Christian Horner's still a bitch though.
No, fuck you.
And the Christian Horner fan club can get bent.
We're not the Christian Horner fan club. We just,
Oh no,
I am.
his team is the Christian Horner fan club on our fantasy GP.
it
league.
sure is. Speaking of fantasy GP, you guys
I'm
wanna talk about
I'm tied for first with
three-way
two others.
tie.
We should maybe mention Fantasy GP for the first time before we get into this.
Fantasy GP is like other fantasy sports except for motor racing, and we created our own league. And if you want to join our league, I think you can probably still join. You're just going to be at a severe disadvantage being down on points, but find our Facebook page. There's the code on how to join there.
Yeah.
It's at Radial Podcast.
Yes.
Well, no, it's the Radio Podcast crew. Oh, wait, no, it's
No.
not. It's on our actual page. It's not just on our.
Yeah, it's on our actual page.
Also join the Radio Podcast crew.
Shout out to Adam Nielsen for sharing that with their fans over there on 1010's podcast in their group.
Yeah, we got a sizable enough like group for this that it should be pretty exciting.
It's pretty exciting because I'm winning right now.
Not soon. You won't be. Just wait till
Aren't you in like second to last?
third to last print out.
Yeah, there's a three-way tie for first. Hang on.
Yeah, I think I need to think
Pick
more.
Hamilton.
No, I mean I picked Vettel, which got me more points than your pick of Hamilton.
Not if Austin also picked Hamilton
No.
for pole,
I did.
so
I picked Vettel for pole,
I did as well.
and I think I picked Hamilton to win the race, but I put Vettel.
No, I picked Vettel as first and Hamilton as second, so I cashed out pretty good on that.
Nice.
So let's see. Yeah, so it's Austin, John, Joe, Daniel, and then me. I'm in fifth,
And I'm third to last.
and Devin's third to last.
Daniel
yeah.
doesn't even watch Formula One and he's in front of you. Think about that.
Fuck you. Maybe just consider that for a minute.
I mean, Daniel listens to this, so he knows who's good because we
it
are
turns out
F1 experts.
What this is proving is that if you listen to us, you're educated enough to know about Formula One to make better picks than even we do.
It's weird because I've also heard that people have listened to this podcast and they knew nothing about Formula One going into it and still know nothing about
It's just
Formula
a
One
smoke
going
show,
into
so
it.
that they're just it's.
I think they come for the
Disillusionment.
bullshit and stay for the bullshit.
Speaking of bullshit,
It's good because it's all bullshit.
McLaren put out those fucking flip flops.
Hell yeah.
We bought them.
We all bought them.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, Jeff picked us up. Some,
Ben, I hope you bought them too.
Yeah, Jeff picked us up some sick flops.
Gonna get those here in April.
Hell yeah. Just in time for summer.
Yep.
Just in time for summer, indeed. Just in time to retire my other ones.
Just in time to celebrate McLaren's dominance in the mid-pack.
Speaking of dominance, Pastor Maldonado.
Fuck.
Before we move into that,
Yes.
Bahrain is the next race. It
2
is,
weeks.
2 weeks from now, April the 8th. It is in the Middle East. Is Bahrain a country or a city?
Bahrain's a country.
City.
Great. What country is it adjacent to, does everybody think?
I'm going to
Hang
guess
on.
Jordan. Bahrain is a country?
Okay.
Hang on. It's like an island?
What?
It is like an island. What the fuck?
Hang on.
It's right next to
Hang on, I'm
Qatar.
looking. It's in the Persian Gulf.
Oh, it's right next to Saudi Arabia.
Yeah.
Bahrain's fucking tiny. Holy
Yeah, it's a
shit.
tiny country in the Persian Gulf.
Bahrain
It's
is
across
like...
the Persian Gulf from Iran.
Okay.
So,
South?
yes.
Okay.
Like kind of southwest-ish.
All right.
Yeah. Bahrain looks like it is like
The size of
the
Jordan?
size of Monaco.
It's tiny.
It's fucking super
It's a little tiny
small.
oil city. State.
Town.
Country.
Shit.
It is fucking tiny, dude. Like, it looks like it's smaller than fucking Rhode Island. Like, it's tiny, tiny, tiny.
I'm about to find out if it's bigger than Rhode Island because I was just thinking that as well. I bet it is.
Are you looking up Rhode Island?
I am.
I'm looking
But
for
yeah,
it.
I'm sure we'll talk about pre-race stuff for Bahrain next week.
Yeah, with times and things like that.
With times and all that stuff, and then we'll go over that race the following episode.
Less than 300 square miles.
It's itty bitty. It's an
I
itty
would
bitty
say,
city.
based off that, it's definitely smaller than Rhode Island, surely.
Rhode Island is
If it's bigger than 295 square miles, it is.
1,200
Whew.
square miles.
Bahrain, you little.
Damn, Bahrain, you got all that oil money.
Jesus.
Per capita, that country's probably pretty wealthy then.
Oh yeah, any
Or
country
maybe
that Formula
per
One
capita
goes
is
to
probably
has
the wrong word to
got
use there.
some wealth in it,
Or oppression.
or oppression. That is also correct.
Thanks, Bernie.
He's about that money, son.
He is.
He's trying to get that money.
All right.
Speaking
so-
of the weekend of April the 7th, the 6th and the 7th, the World Endurance Championship is doing some testing.
Hell yeah.
where are they
the
testing at?
Circuit de Paul Ricard.
In
That's in
France. Marseille.
Ho, ho, ho.
Marseille.
And most importantly,
The wine. And the bread.
Pastor Maldonado is going to be there.
Hell
driving
yeah.
for Dragon Speed.
Hell
so now I've got
yeah.
two drivers in WEC to super care about. Pastor
Fernando
Maldonado and Fernando Alonso.
Hell yeah.
There's probably some other people in there I care about. I'd have to look. I think Sebastian Buemi's in there.
I think Ocon's racing in there.
Really?
I think so. I think I saw something
I mean,
about
Stroll's probably racing in there.
that. Stroll's probably definitely doing some more WEC.
Yeah. I mean, he's got to find a...
He's got to find his backup career,
Yeah, because this one isn't going to last.
It's going to last until his money runs out.
which is never.
Claire Williams out there trying to drink.
He's doing better than Sorokin so far, which is disappointing.
He... Not by much, though.
Well, I mean, he finished the race.
I mean, Sorokin's brakes failed.
He finished the race.
Didn't Sorokin out-qualify the fuck out of him?
No.
No, I don't think so. No, in fact,
They
Sorokin...
kept showing Robert Kubica that whole race, too. I was like,
Sorokin
oh.
didn't make it out of Q3. But up until like Lance Stroll's last lap, Sorokin's was way better than his. And then Lance just put in a pretty good lap. Yeah. So
I think that's all the motorsport news we have for this week.
agreed.
Super GT is still testing,
Yes.
so their season will start pretty soon. I keep
think
seeing
so.
Jan the Man talking
think
about things.
in April. Speaking of Jan the Man, Vettel has a terrible haircut.
Oh God!
Oh,
yeah,
God,
Vettel's
yeah.
haircut looks like someone put a bowl on top of his head and then just like buzz cut it.
Yeah, it
below
looks bad.
It's like they were like, it's like he got interrupted in the middle of getting a fade, and he was like, "I gotta go."
Yep.
I don't think Sebastian Vettel can ever look cool, though.
I think you're wrong. He's usually looks cool.
Nah.
Yeah, I
He looks
also
like kind of a
disagree.
dork, and like he tries too hard.
So one of the things that I thought
just
that I was
looks like a
having while he was
normal
on the
dude.
podium, like he's doing a lot of dorky ass motions right now. Just the like fist uppercut, like huh, and, like
Yeah.
you do this because you saw
He's a
fucking video games and
Mario
cartoons do
ass
that.
motherfucker.
Like,
Oh, shit.
Like his radio transmissions and stuff when he wins, like the da-da-da-da-da-da, like whatever that fucking thing
That
is
was
that he
pole
did.
in
It's
Mexico.
Yeah.
like, man, like what's wrong
Oh
with
wait,
you?
no, that was winning in Mexico.
Are you having a stroke? Like, yeah, that dude cannot be.
He's
cool.
a dork, and
I
it's
think
fine.
that was
I
Paul,
like,
maybe.
I
in
kind of like
Mexico.
Vettel.
I like Vettel. He's my
Don't like Sebastian Vettel.
favorite
Did
of the
you like
two
Hamilton?
guys. Yeah.
No, all right.
I feel
So
like if you like
Vettel
Hamilton-
continually does things that make me not like him, like ramming other cars with his car.
I mean, Lewis does that too, but he does it like in the middle of the night in Monaco.
While drunk.
So Super GT actually starts that same weekend, April 7th and 8th.
It's gonna be a busy weekend.
It's going to be a busy
track is
weekend. Okayama,
Japan.
Is it how
What
long is that race?
prefecture?
Japan.
Nailed it.
It's 300 kilometers.
Nice.
Similar to the same as a
Nice.
Formula One race,
Words.
right? Or is Formula One 200? 300 is 300.
I don't know the
I
metric
don't
system.
remember.
The
Formula
metric
One
system
is
is
the minimum number of laps to exceed
fucking
300
lame.
kilometers. I'm going to move forward and away from my microphone, and that's going to be really confusing.
It's going to sound like ass.
Yeah.
It just sounds bad.
no project car updates. I did not take the Bronco to Alva.
Oh, it's the Yokoyama Prefecture.
Nice.
Japan.
Nice.
No, it's not Nice. That's
What's the
France.
track name?
Okayama International Circuit.
In the Okayama Prefecture in Japan,
Japan.
the land of the rising sun. Are they still? Is that still their
Yeah.
Yes.
catchphrase?
Yep.
For lack of a
That's-
better term.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know.
Yes.
This is the land of the free.
home of the brave.
What's the term for that?
Land of the free because of the brave.
That's right.
Sure. This has gone places.
America.
Yeah.
I love it. You love it. We all love it. It's great.
Uh-huh.
Capitalism.
No. I'm not going to go that far.
The American dream, where
Mired in
Gene
debt.
Haas can murder hookers and start Formula One teams.
Yep.
Fucking CNC swords.
You know, if you... I mean, that's probably, like, really easy to identify him by. Like, if they find a
What,
hooker
murdering
with,
hookers?
like... if they find a dead hooker with, like,
With a CNC machine crushing her?
sword, like, through her chest...
I don't listen. I bet Gene Haas knew how to operate a CNC machine 20 years ago. I doubt Gene Haas still knows how to do that.
Yeah.
Like, all he does is sit down and worry about this money.
Yeah.
Like, that's all he does is count money.
That's all I do.
So he probably got somebody else to dispose of the body.
Elon Musk.
Yes.
Oh, shit. That's who
full
was in
circle.
that Tesla.
Full circle.
Full
Where's the
circle.
tinfoil at? They're reading our minds.
God damn.
You guys ready to shut this thing down? before we
Sure
get
am.
too
There's no...
crazy?
there might be a Formula E race next week.
Probably.
Hold on.
But I don't care.
Hold on. We have to guess at where it is. That'll be a fun thing for you.
Oh, that is a fun thing. I care again.
Yeah, there you go.
Where is this bad race?
Probably going to be an easy place to guess just because they
There's not a race until April 14th. Never mind. 3 weeks until Formula E's back. All right, let me know if you guys know where this is. Rome.
Oh, shit.
Shit.
Is that in Paris?
No, Paris is 2 weeks later.
It's in Texas, you dumb shit.
But yeah, so the next Formula E race is April 14th in Rome, which is distinctly not next weekend.
Sweet. Do they race through the Coliseum?
Yep.
Oh,
They're
for real?
The race is just in the Coliseum.
Yeah.
Oh, hell yeah. I might actually watch that. Put lions on the track.
I probably won't.
Put
Max is
cheetahs on
busy.
the track.
Oh, there'll be cheetahs on the track, all right.
Hell yeah. Okay.
And
that was a
birds.
Bad joke.
Sam Bird. Shut it. Let's turn this
No,
off.
I'm sorry.
Turn
Rome
this
is in
off.
Georgia, not Texas.
Let's shut it down.
Fix my joke.
Really?
Yeah, Rome.
Shut it down.
Paris is in Texas.
Paris is in
We've
Texas.
got a movie to watch. Shut it down.
Athens is in Georgia. Also.
Shuts it down.
You're the...
It's also a diet.
I'm gonna shut it.
Say what?
I'm gonna
Athens
shut it down.
Athens.
Atkins. I
Athens.
heard Atkins.
Atkins diet. Shut it down.
Well, bonjour.
We'll see you guys next week.
Bye.
Bye.
Make an aim.
Make anime. Hell yeah.